Welcome to the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. Here's your host, Morgan Colby and Rick Lemon.
What is poppin', fantasy champs? I got my bubbly. I got Rick on the other side of the screen. We got football this weekend. And it was so glorious.
Hey, you know what?
Emotional 9/11 tribute, leaning into the national anthem, leaning into pro football.
You know, I miss the little things, like how crappy I feel Sunday night from sitting on the couch the entire day.
Trying to watch 7 football games at once.
Yeah. I literally think I took, on a typical day, I probably take about 25,000 steps a day because I'm active. But yesterday, I don't think I hit 1,000.
No, I probably. Well, actually, I watched the Patriots at pace. You know how I do.
Yeah, well, you actually get a workout in when you watch
17,000 steps for me.
I was like just laying on the couch, not moving for about 10 straight hours, and it was awesome.
Yikes!
It was awesome.
It was pretty glorious. Anyway, welcome to the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. My name is Morgan Colby. I got Rick Lemon on the other side of the screen, as I said earlier. And we are going to, I don't know that we're going to, I would love to sit here and break down week 1. That would be fun. But we have to get you ready for week 2. So we're going to jump right into our waiver wire show today. And maybe we'll go into, right before we do waiver wire, some things that we noticed about week 1.
Sure.
But anyway, yeah, so welcome. Before we jump into all that, check out our website, fantasychampions.com. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Just type the FF Champs in, the Fantasy Champions, whatever. You'll find us. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or any other podcasting platforms, leave a review and share this podcast with your friends. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. Get us to 300, and then get us to 500 before the season ends. We got, February? I guess we can say till February.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're watching, if you click the bell for notifications, you'll get notified whenever we post a video. You like and comment down below. Just something you were right on. Comment something you were right on in week 1. Take a week 1 victory lap in the comments.
Week 1 victory laps are honestly so fun.
They really are, until you're wrong in week 2.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that's 0
Rick
points.
probably ran. Well, no, he didn't run. He sat on his butt in his apartment, keeping those step totals down because it's Sunday.
Right.
But he probably had some exciting. His heart rate went up when he saw Corey Davis get 24.
Sure. Oh gosh, dude! I actually I cheered when the Patriots scored, and nothing involving fantasy. Right? I didn't cheer for anything when Corey Davis scored. I got up, started clapping. I was like, "Let's go!" I got lit.
I won't lie. If you go to my Twitter page, it really isn't a Mac Jones fan page. It's a fantasy football account. But it says Mac Jones fan page at the top. So I just want to clarify that I am a Mac Jones fan. And it's not because I'm a Pats homer. I would have rooted for him no matter where he went.
Yes, yeah.
I would have been on the start Mac over Jimmy Garoppolo train if he went number 3.
I don't even think I could do that.
Either way.
Jimmy's my guy.
Jimmy is my guy. I don't know if I could do that to Jimmy either. I almost jumped out of my pants when I saw Mac Jones throw a touchdown. I was like, thank God we got that out of the way.
Oh, yeah.
But either way, it was a fun week. Fantasy-wise, is there anything that you want to note on the week before we jump into waivers?
Oh, my gosh. The problem with that is there's so much we could talk about.
You could talk about Trevor Lawrence's 3 picks.
Yeah, I mean, rookie quarterbacks look like rookie
Zach
quarterbacks.
Wilson having 400 bruises all over his body. He's just a giant bruise at this point. Yeah.
We could talk about overreactions and people maybe even underreacting to players, more so overreactions. Like Saquon having a bad game.
Tried really hard not to take a Kyle Pitts victory lap.
You should have.
I should have, but I know those 8 targets are going to come back to bite me in week 2.
Honestly, too, like there was definitely some things I got wrong, but compared to last year, I think week 1,
pretty good.
Start the year, was pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, we did all right.
For both of us, yeah.
I thought it was interesting that the bulk of the end zone target share for Jameis Winston did not go to Marquez Callaway, didn't go to Deontay Harris, their other wide receiver on the very limited depth chart they have. It wasn't even Traquan Smith, who didn't even play in this game. Not sure why. It literally went to some guy named Juwan Johnson.
Yeah,
I couldn't have told you was going to be anywhere near fantasy line, not near fantasy lines, but anywhere near.
So I did hear
tight end rankings.
Super deep leagues were saying to pick him up because he's a good pass catching tight end and he will have opportunity. Mm-hmm. But those people are taking massive victory laps, which fair enough, as you should. But I just want to remind everyone that Adam Trotman did have more targets. Just to keep that in mind.
Yeah, that's fair. They don't have anyone to target anyway, so
no, they don't.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, I think the rookies looked like rookies, except for Mac.
Rookie running backs, not great, but no. I think we could have told you that other than Najee Harris. Although Eliza Mitchell did play well.
Javonte, I saw this on the. I haven't looked at snap share totals, but I know I have to look at the snap count totals because why not? But I know Melvin had 11 rushes, 101 yards, touchdown. Melvin Gordon.
To be fair, it was like he had like an 80-yard touchdown run. So other than that, he was not good.
Javonte Williams had 14 carries. So I don't know if that means anything.
Yeah, I think a lot of that was at the end of the game, though.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a complete split. It was like 50-50.
I'm gonna have to go to half PPR because I'm totally gonna say the wrong stats. We haven't talked about Thursday Night Football, by the way. I did want to reference Rob Gronkowski. I don't want to buy in, but he looks different.
I'm not going to lie. He did look much better. And younger. I'm not talking about the stats.
He looks fresh.
Exactly, yeah.
He looks better than he did last year. He looks like Gronk from 2017.
I still am not going to buy into
that. I will agree with that, but if he looks like that Gronk all year, he might be a top 3 tight end again. I don't know if that's going to happen.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
It's a hot take. I'm not predicting it. I'm just saying if he plays like that.
Sure.
I'm not even talking about the stat line or the 2 touchdowns. I'm just talking about how he ran routes, how he got himself into the game, like how he was playing. He played younger. He played more fresh. He was blocking better. Everything was better about Gronk. He just looked better in this game than he did last year. So I don't know if that's just one game or if it's a trend. We'll see if it's a trend. If it is, Gronk might be a steal, and I don't want to say that out loud.
Yeah, don't. I would. I'm not gonna go there yet. I gotta see more.
So anyway,
especially because I had Gronk as like my tight end 18. So
yeah, that's fair. And right now he's tight end 1, I believe, in half PPR.
Yeah, no, Kelsey is, I think.
And half PPR, Gronk is number 1.
He is?
Yes, sir. Half PPR, he is number 1.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, just 2 tutties. I
might have to eat my words on that one.
For Travis Kelsey.
We'll see
anyway. So let's talk about some waiver wire ads for the week. We'll jump into that now that we're 8 minutes for 54 seconds. We just had to talk about some of the week. We literally probably should just hit record when me and Rick are talking pre-show and just post it.
Yeah.
Honestly. But either way. So we're going to start off with the quarterbacks. We'll move to the running backs and just talk about some guys, wide receivers, tight ends. You know the plan. If you watched last year. If you haven't watched, we're just going to go through every position and tell you to pick up. Except for defense and kickers, like get out of here with that. It's a waste of time.
Right.
Actually, Rick, you didn't do any research, but I'll give you the whole show. Next 15 minutes to go find a defense of the week.
A defense to add?
Yeah, of the week. Just go find one, and then I'll go pick them up over you.
I got you
in the home league. You do my research, and then I'll just go. You just seem to do better with defenses than I do. My defense is always below. The Chargers were looking like a terrible pickup.
They got like 10 points.
Yeah, I know, but it was looking like a terrible pickup until freaking what was
Fitzpatrick.
Fitzpatrick broke his hip, and then that. By the way, that's such a 40-year-old man thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
I love you. It's a terrible thing for Fitzpatrick, but he hurt his hip.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like you walk down the stairs and you go, "Oh, my hip!" My hip went again. It's like I threw my back out. Like, okay. All right.
Very old man.
But anyway, so let's start off with the quarterback position. I think the clear number one guy, not because he's the number one guy on the list that I have in front of me, but I think for me, the clear number one guy is Jameis Winston. I think they need to go out and add another receiver to the wide receiver core in a trade. And I know a football team who actually won this weekend, surprisingly, because Urban Meyer's a complete joke. But Houston has said that they want to trade away some veterans, right? Said that a couple weeks ago. Brandon Cooks, I would consider as a veteran. He's played in New Orleans. You can go grab him, probably for the cheap.
Ooh.
Get some Jameis and Brandon Cooks action going at you. They need a receiver badly, though, because he was not throwing it to the receivers pretty much at all.
No, it was like the Lions.
Alvin Kamara and the tight ends were getting targeted, and that's about it. But he did throw 5 touchdowns. New Orleans put him in a really good position to score. I think he's not always going to get 150 passing yards in a game.
No.
So there's a little bit of trepidation for me on the Jameis Winston front, adding him at this point, just because of the fact that we didn't see the passing yardage. There's really no proof to me that he moved the ball down the field effectively from the 20 to the 20. You know what I mean? So it's like we have to see that more in the future. But right now, I would not have a problem adding him as an option moving forward. He definitely can become a streaming option against really good matchups, and there could be, I'm not saying a breakout, but you want to snag a guy who possibly could break out after a good week 1 performance now, as opposed to later in the season. So Jameis Winston's my number one guy.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't think it's if you look at the quarterbacks on this list, it's Winston, Tua, Roethlisberger, Mac Jones, Teddy Bridgewater, Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
These guys are all had okay weeks, and they're probably going to continue to have just okay weeks, right? And none of these guys, they might have an occasional 30-point game, but none of these guys are real quarterbacks that you're looking to start.
You're telling me you don't want Taylor Heineke?
As hard as that is to pass up, I think I would have to.
You're going to have to say no.
But Winston, on the other hand, I think could have starting potential week to week because, he's not going to throw 5 touchdowns, obviously, every week, but he's also not going to throw the ball.
I think he also had 40
170 yards or whatever.
Somewhere around 40.
Yeah. I mean, he had 37 rushing yards.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. But yeah, he also only threw the ball 20 times, I think, in games that are closer where they're not absolutely destroying a team. He'll throw the ball more. So I think Winston has potential to be a week-to-week starter. And we talked about that in the offseason as a deep play if he ends up being the starter on the Saints. Yeah. Correct, yeah. So
also helping that freak out of Alvin Kamara.
Now,
with the target share.
That's true.
I don't know where he finished, Alvin Kamara.
Dude, I think my boy Adam Trautman had the most targets
on the team.
Yeah,
me.
Either him or Kamara.
Oh my god, that's right, because he threw 20 passes.
Yeah, he had 6 targets. So interesting.
Oh my word! He commanded probably 40% of the passing reps.
Right, that's interesting.
Oh wow!
Now that might hurt him, Winston, for the next few weeks. Is just the receiving core.
When does Michael Thomas get back?
I think Michael Thomas is out the first 4 weeks.
Okay. I'm gonna
so not too bad, but they have the Panthers who look good on defense, the Patriots who are good in defense, and then the Giants. So
yeah, I don't know that.
And even Washington, so it's kind of tough matchups. I think the Giants would be okay, and even the Panthers, we'll see.
I mean, it says he has an okay schedule, and if all the tough games are front loaded, then that could be useful.
He's worth a pickup, right?
Yes,
worth a pickup.
Definitely worth a pickup. Even if I don't know who's he playing next week. Did you say that?
Panthers, I think.
Carolina? Yeah, that's an okay matchup to play him.
Yeah.
He's on the PUP list. So he will be ineligible to return before week 8. So
Michael Thomas?
Michael Thomas. He's going to be out for 7 weeks. So his earliest return date is against the Buccaneers in week 8. So he's gone for a little bit. Yeah.
That's interesting.
So we'll have to see. I mean, like I said, this also could be one of those good, you add him now, and then he could have some really good weeks, some off and on weeks. But by the time you get Michael Thomas back, it could be a good late season ad. But either way, Tua Tagovailoa at number 2. I watched, as a New England Patriots fan, had a bad day. But I watched Tua the whole game. He did good. He had moments, and then he had some good moments. He had some bad moments, and I think I expected Tua to be this really, like, if you're gonna break out as a quarterback, I'm not saying that you can't break out as a quarterback if it doesn't happen in week 1, but I will say it's gonna be tough. From what I saw yesterday, and that's the best defense. That's probably one of the best defenses.
I was just gonna say.
Yeah. So we'll see, but if that's what you get out of Tua all season long, I see for the Miami Dolphins, that's great news, great for them. But if this is what you get out of Tua all season long, fantasy wise, there really doesn't seem to be a whole lot of upside for me. If Tua Tagovailoa, though, is on your waiver wire, I would say pick him up, because I believe that there is a chance that I think he has probably an even greater chance of breaking out than Jameis Winston does, if we're being honest. He was getting drafted in like the 14th round. So if he's on your waiver wire, like, I would just add him and let him
I would too. I mean,
for a few weeks.
Yeah, his schedule's pretty easy, actually. New England might be the hardest defense he's going to face for the next 10 weeks. I mean, he has Buffalo, the Raiders, the Colts. The Buccaneers are tough. That might be the toughest one. But then he has Jacksonville, Atlanta, Buffalo again, Houston, Baltimore, which that's a tough one, and then the Jets. So there's 2 tough games for his next 8 games, pretty much, before the bye week.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. We'll see how he does week to week, but putting up 18, if you're just looking at it from a fantasy perspective, putting up 18 against New England isn't that bad.
I mean, it's not bad at all.
He can put up 20 a week. I don't think he's going to be a high-end QB1 by any means, but if he can be just consistent, 20 fantasy points a week kind of player, which I think is possible with this easy schedule, I mean, we'll see how it goes, but I think he's 100% worth a pickup. I would say Winston, I don't know. It is actually close between him and Winston, but
I will say, yeah, it is. I'll agree. It is close, but he doesn't really provide much of a rushing floor either.
No, he doesn't. Yeah.
So, and they just didn't move the ball a lot, and I mean, we talked about, didn't we have Tua on a sit list this week?
We did, yeah.
So we talked about how Tua was playing New England, and it was going to be a tough matchup. So clearly, that held up. What did you say? He had 18?
Yeah, 18.
Are you looking in our 5-point touchdown league, or?
Oh, I might be.
Okay. Because I was just I have it open on Fantasy Pros. And
yeah, he had 17.
Okay. Yeah. So so it's not a great week, and he doesn't provide a great rushing floor. So I mean, there's some things to add into that, but definitely worth an add at this point. We'll see as the season goes along if it's somebody. We'll let you know if you should drop him. Right. Outside of that, I don't see any other quarterback ads. There might be some streaming options here with Ben Roethlisberger. Bridgewater had an okay game. I don't know if it's streamable. I'll get back to you if he's a streamable option, and then the rest of these guys really aren't that great. I think Tyrod had an okay game.
Tyrod actually had a good game, but it was against Jacksonville. So I mean, if he's gonna have a good game,
I would say no. I'm gonna pass on that. I'm gonna pass on Tyrod for right now. So yeah, unless you have any more quarterbacks, we'll move on.
No, we can move on.
At the running back position, I think the resounding pickup for me is got to be Eliza Mitchell. You have a report coming out right before we even started podcasting that said Raheem Mostert's going to be out. What was it? 8 weeks.
8 weeks.
So he's going to be gone for 8 weeks. Eliza Mitchell is coming in as, I would say, he came in yesterday as the feature running back. He's only owned in 4% of league. I was going to say 14. That would be very wrong. But 4% of leagues he's owned in. This could be, and we'll see with Mostert, because Mostert is going to be, he's going to come back eventually. And to all these people who think that the guy they just stuck on the bench and basically redshirted his first game, he's going to come in and start for San Francisco. No, that's not going to happen unless it was an injury or something. Eliza Mitchell is going to start for San Francisco. I would pick him up. In a barren landscape of running backs on your waiver wire, you have to get Eliza Mitchell on your team. There is no two ways about it. And he's he's really good. So, and I forgot that he was a rookie. I thought he was a second-year guy, but either way, they got him in the 6th round. So here we go. Here we go with another James Robinson.
Yeah.
I don't, like I said, Mostert's only out for 8 weeks, and that backfield for San Francisco is a rotation. So it really could be any, like next week it might be Jermichael Hasty.
Mm-hmm.
The week following, maybe Trey Sermon gets some reps and he
has a good practice, and all of a sudden he's the starter.
Right. And so it's like anything can happen in San Francisco, but I would spend some good money on Eliza Mitchell to get him.
I would too, and I think he's clearly the top running back. But I do want to say this: for anyone that owned any 49ers running backs last season, knows the situation that we're in this year, and I think knows how Kyle Shanahan uses running backs, and it's disgusting. Last year, there was weeks where Jared McKinnon was the top running back. He would say Jared McKinnon is getting a workhorse level play this week, and then benched him and didn't even play. Like, he was active and did not play or had one carry, a single carry. And Jermichael Hasty had like 20 plus. And then I think Tevin Coleman was still on the team last year, had some big games. Raheem Mostert. Like, they used all four of their running backs last year had RB1 games. Like, there was a week where he used them as the RB1 just to like try it or whatever. I don't know. But we'll see that there's going to be 8 weeks where it's just Mitchell and Trey Sermon, and we'll see if they bring in a running back.
I doubt they do. They already had 5 on the roster, so.
Well, yeah. Well, they did cut a few guys. I think with Mostert out, I think it's just Hasty, Sermon, and Mitchell.
Okay. I thought there was one other guy they might have had, but
there might be one more guy, but either way, I don't think he'd be used.
Okay. How much money?
But yeah, no, Mitchell. And how much fab? Like, how much money can I give up? Essentially,
let's just say you have $200.
Okay. It kind of, so this will depend on your team. If you're desperate for a running back, I'd put half of it. I really would. If you're really desperate because you're not going to get this opportunity again, or it doesn't seem like it, especially if teams have their handcuffs.
You could just use a percentage if you want. So 50% is what you would do.
Yeah, maybe a little under 50%.
Okay.
Maybe like 40%. But yeah, I would use a lot. But if you don't need a running back and you're kind of good at running back, I wouldn't go nearly as much. I'd probably look at like, if you would say 40% if you need one, and then probably like 20, 25 if you don't.
Yeah. Okay. And then the only other guy on the running back list right now that I would add is Mark Ingram. I know, it's gross. It's disgusting. It's horrible. It's Houston. But you know what? 27 whole carries.
That is true.
Okay, I don't know if I told you this. I should have aired it out on the podcast, but I saw the depth chart for this football team. And you know where David Johnson was? He was 3rd. You know where Philip Lindsay was? He was number 2. And I told you Mark Ingram was number 1. And Houston used him as the number 1 running back.
That's how they used him. They used Lindsay was 2nd and David Johnson was 3rd.
I thought this guy was going to be relegated to the 3rd running back spot, and I was wrong about that. But I think it was funny that I saw him number 1 on the depth chart. Mark Ingram comes in, not spending a lot of waiver budget. I would say, like I said, needy. There's a lot of running back needy teams. So if you want to go out and do it, I would, because I still don't know what Houston's doing. I don't think anybody does, but 10% is probably what I would be okay with.
I just want to say he had 26 touches, but only had 85 yards.
Yes,
against Jacksonville.
But I don't think it's going to get any better, and I don't think David Johnson or any other of the running backs could do better. Like Philip Lindsay, you could make an argument, but I don't think he's holding up on 27 carries.
No, but I don't know. I just investing in Mark Ingram is just so gross to me, but it's probably not a bad pickup.
Yeah.
I wouldn't spend any money on this guy, but I mean, Carlos Hyde did have more carries than James Robinson, which is, again, Urban Meyer is so stupid. And I could talk about him for 20 plus minutes and that situation, but I'm not going to. But yeah, Carlos Hyde. And then if you, obviously, Tony Jones played good for the Saints if you have Kamara as a handcuff, and that's pretty much it.
All right. The number 1 guy on this list that we have right now is owned in 51% of the leagues. If Devontae Parker's on your waiver wire, he should be on a team.
Yeah.
So just go check your waiver wire and add Devontae Parker. I don't really want to
be fair, though, Will Fuller's coming back as well.
We're talking about wide receivers, by the way. Didn't even advance the conversation. Go ahead.
Now I'm talking about receivers. I was just going to say, like, with Will Fuller coming back, is Parker even going to? I don't know. He's still worth being owned. Don't get me wrong, but how good is he going to be? We'll see.
Yeah. As far as the other wide receivers, I would say really quickly, I just can't. I can't buy into Christian Kirk. I can't do it. I can't. I'm just going to leave him alone. Rieger, yes.
Yeah, he should have been drafted.
He should have been drafted. But if he's
late
not,
round pick,
go get him. Rondale Moore, deeper play. Don't think you're going to start him first week, but I don't think if you're picking up a wide receiver, there's a good chance that you have a lot of good guys. I mean, I know we lost Jerry Jeudy this week, so you might want to head to the waiver wire and pick up some guys. Rondale, if he's available, is not a bad ad. Nelson Aguilar, what do you get? 7 targets?
Yeah, Aguilar was pretty decent.
And then I would say after that, Gabe Davis had an okay game. Van Jefferson had a couple of targets. He caught that big touchdown early in the game for Los Angeles, but that just might be a big flash play. I don't think there's much there. Didn't they sign a stretch field guy similar to Brandon Cooks in the offseason? Forgot his name.
Wait, for who?
The Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah, Deshaun Jackson, bro.
Deshaun Jackson. All right. Is he actually playing or is he hurt?
Yeah, he had like 4 catches.
Okay. All right. Catches. So, but Van Jefferson comes in, and he caught. So, I would say keep an eye on Van Jefferson, keep an eye on Gabe Davis, keep an eye on Sterling Shepard.
Jefferson, yeah. I mean, he had first offensive play of the game. Mm-hmm. He had like a 70-yard touchdown or something like that. But then after that, he had 2 targets and 1 catch for like 10 yards. So.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, I would still keep an eye on him because he's the deep play threat. I think the main deep play threat, but yeah. I wouldn't go crazy.
Honestly, I would say if these guys are on your waiver wire, I'd pick them up. Parker, Rieger, Moore, Aguilar, and then keep an eye on Shepard, Gabe Davis, Van Jefferson. And then one other guy I'm intrigued by, I want to get your thoughts on, Cedric Wilson for Dallas. Michael Gallup is out for a little bit with an ankle injury. It seemed like they wanted to get him on the field and use him a little bit. Cedric had, I think, 4 or 5 targets or something like that in the game. Mm-hmm. Not representative of a full game, but do you think he could play the Michael Gallup role for the time being?
Yeah, I think it's possible. I would consider adding him. He's not going to do anything crazy for you, and it'll only be a couple weeks. But yeah, I think he could be a decent flex.
Is there anyone else that you're intrigued by on the receiver chart?
Did you say Gabe Davis already?
I said Gabe Davis is a guy I want to watch.
Yeah, I think he should be owned. But again, Gabe Davis is not someone. There's too many targets on that team.
I mean, they run 5 wide the whole game.
They do.
Buffalo's such a one-dimensional offense at this point, and I'm like, I don't think they're gonna. I don't know, man. I think Buffalo might be slightly overrated.
They are. They have
Pittsburgh.
No running game. They have no running game.
They lost to Pittsburgh, dude.
Pittsburgh isn't that bad though. I mean, they could be a playoff team. Anyway, yeah, Gabe Davis, I would definitely consider.
Okay.
Tim Patrick is super gross, but with Jeudy out,
I feel like KJ Hamler or Tim Patrick could end up being in the same conversation though. Like, yeah, exactly, I feel like it's going to be like a early season Devin Ozigbo, Reichwald Armstead argument last year in Jacksonville where people were fighting over these 2 guys and then it only ends up being one of them.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know. That's why I'm kind of like, I'm willing to watch the guy, but I don't know if I'm willing
to. That's totally fair because it's kind of gross. And KJ Hamler, I don't know if he had a huge game. Let's see. He had 7 fantasy points. But he did have a play in the end zone where it was a perfect throw from Teddy Bridgewater and it hit Hamler in like the helmet and he dropped it. It would have been like a 60-yard touchdown. But other than that one play.
So like DK Metcalf?
Yeah, it was like that.
Oh, okay.
But you saw like the upside. So Hamler might end up actually scoring more fantasy points than Tim Patrick. But they each had 4 targets. So it's like, do you really want to take a flyer on that?
Right. Is there any more wide receivers you want to talk about?
No, we can move on.
Okay. Tight ends, and then Rick will give his defense of the week. There is really no tight ends at this point. Kmet, definitely, I would say 100% yes, add him if you need a tight end. I would say
I can't wait for. I mean, I never want to say like I can't wait for this person to retire because it's kind of messed up. But I can't wait for Jimmy Graham to not be on the Bears just for Cole Kmet's sake.
Yeah, that's fair. And then you're going to see Juwan Johnson out here on the waiver wire, and you're going to get sweaty, and you're going to be wanting him, and you're going to say 2 touchdowns? Oh, he had 3 catches in the whole game, and 2 of them were touchdowns. That percentage is I don't know, last time I checked, probably going to drop the touchdown rate there. It's like he catches a touchdown on like 80+% of his catches.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
I would say you're picking up the wrong New Orleans tight end. Adam Trotman, I don't know his own percentage, but if he's available in your league, I would go pick him up. I think he is the tight end to get. I think while everyone's getting Juwan Johnson, you need to go out and get Adam Trotman. Outside of that, Dalton Schultz had some interesting moments for Dallas, for sure. I just feel like there's too many options for target share in Dallas, and I don't think that Dak is going to throw it that much every single game. I think he's going to throw it a lot this year, don't get me wrong. He's 650 times probably, but I don't think they're going to throw 58 times or 59 times this Sunday against whoever they're playing. So he's interesting, but outside of that, I'm not really excited about any of the tight ends.
Yeah, the tight ends are kind of gross. I've heard so many people talk about Gerald Everett this week because he scored a touchdown, and even I was like, oh, okay. And then I looked at his numbers. He had 2 targets. So, let's calm down. Yeah, Cole Kmet definitely looked – I thought he looked really good, actually.
Yeah.
But it's just with Jimmy Graham there, I don't know what his ceiling is, but he should be worth an ad. Other than that, though, yeah, I'm not crazy about anything.
All right, Rick, you had your whole show to talk about this. Defense of the week.
Yeah. All right, so are we talking about who to add?
Yeah.
I would put 2. I think the Broncos.
If you're streaming defenses, who you streaming, boss?
Yeah, the Broncos defense is probably available this week. They're playing the Jaguars. I think Trevor Lawrence will throw a touchdown or 2, but that offense is still kind of a mess. There'll be a lot of turnovers, a lot of sacks.
Will Trevor Lawrence break the rookie record for interceptions?
If for some reason the Patriots defense is available, pick them up against the Jets. That's going to be disgusting.
Yeah.
And I think kind of a one that people might not love based on week 1 is Browns defense versus Houston Texans, because the Texans played so good and the Browns defense wasn't. But the Browns defense played the Chiefs and the Texans played the Jaguars. I think they come back down to earth and the Browns have a good game this week.
Yeah, I'm going to say the Browns having a great game. That's a good pickup. I'm still hating on Houston, so.
Right, me too. Hey, if Houston comes out and plays well, though, 2 weeks in a row, we got to give them their due.
Oh, we got to give them props. We have to give them props. There's no other 2 ways about it.
Sure.
So there you go. Waiver wire ads for week 2. We're jumping into week 2 already, friends. Fully into the season. We'll talk to you tomorrow, guys.
See you guys later.
Thank you for listening to the Fantasy Champions Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes and YouTube, and follow us on Twitter @TheFFChamps.